Have you ever thought about rebranding your Ohio business? Maybe launching a new product line or running a franchise? Well, here is a terrifying thought. A simple naming mistake could literally freeze your company's legal rights. Boom. Today, we're diving into this complete step-by-step explainer to make absolutely sure you stay compliant and your brand stays protected when registering an Ohio DBA for your limited liability company.
We're kicking things off with a massive, high-stakes question today because, a simple mistake with your name can literally stop your business in its tracks. Imagine signing a major contract or trying to sue a vendor who totally wronged you, only to have a judge look at you and say, your business doesn't legally exist under the name you're using. No way, right? But in Ohio, if you operate under an unregistered alternate name, you are exposing yourself to exactly that risk.
And this isn't just a theory. Under Ohio Revised Code 1329.10, if you operate under an unregistered alias, state law strictly bars you from taking court action to protect your business. You can't file a lawsuit. You can't enforce a contract. Basically, your hands are tied until that registration is officially filed and approved. It's a massive vulnerability. But the good news? It can be fixed with one simple filing.
Here is how we've structured today's explainer. We'll start with an intro to Ohio DBAs, move into eligibility and legal considerations, give you a step-by-step filing guide, look at some real Ohio business examples, cover success tips and pitfalls, and wrap up with a conclusion and next steps. Section 1. Intro to Ohio DBAs, defining the dualities of business names.
At its core, a DBA, or doing business as, is an alternate registered name. It lets your LLC operate, advertise, open bank accounts, and sign contracts under a name entirely different from the formal legal name on your original paperwork. Now, what's kind of interesting here is that Ohio actually doesn't officially use the term DBA on its forms. Instead, they refer to them broadly as name registrations, and under that umbrella, you have to choose between two very specific categories.
When you file, you have to make a crucial legal distinction. In Ohio, you are either registering a trade name or a fictitious name. A trade name asserts your right to exclusive use within the state. It blocks competitors in Ohio from registering a confusingly similar name, and because of that, it absolutely must be distinguishable from every other name already on record. A fictitious name, on the flip side, is non-exclusive. It doesn't have to be perfectly unique, but it also offers exactly zero exclusive rights to that name. So, multiple businesses could technically use the exact same fictitious name.
Section 2. Eligibility and legal considerations. Understanding LLCs versus DBAs.
It's incredibly common for founders to confuse the purpose of a DBA with the purpose of an LLC, so let's clear that up right now. The absolute most crucial takeaway here is that a DBA is really just a nickname. It offers zero personal liability protection. Notice the difference? An LLC provides a legal shield separating your personal assets from your business debts. A DBA doesn't create a new legal entity, it's simply an alias slapped onto your existing one. This is exactly why so many founders choose to form an LLC first to get that liability shield and then file a DBA underneath it for the branding flexibility.
Section 3. Step-by-step filing guide. Navigating Form 5340A.
Okay, now that we know the what and the why, let's dive into the how. It really boils down to 3 logical steps. Step 1 is checking name availability using the Secretary of State's online business search tool. Doing a thorough name search first is absolutely your best bet for a smooth, error-free process, especially if you're going for a trade name that requires distinguishability. Step 2 is completing Form 534A, where you'll provide your LLC's legal name, its Ohio entity number, and indicate whether you want a trade or fictitious name. And Step 3 is just submission. It's fastest through the Ohio Business Central portal, though you can still mail it in if you prefer.
And check out this brilliantly straightforward number. Just $39. That is the standard state filing fee for your DBA, payable directly to the Secretary of State. And that applies whether you're registering a trade name or a fictitious name, which makes this a very low-cost way to officially rebrand or launch a new product line without the massive expense of forming a brand new LLC. Now, there are expedited options for an extra fee, but that base cost is incredibly accessible.
Section 4. Real Ohio business examples. Case studies from the Buckeye State. Sometimes the best way to understand the law is to see it in action. So let's look at a couple real-world examples. Look at the first one here. The legal entity is John Sandwiches, LLC. That is the name on the tax returns, the bank accounts, the whole shebang. But maybe the owner wants the street sign and the napkins to say something punchier, like Johnny's Subs. A DBA makes that totally legal. Or think about franchising. The local owner might be Quick Ship Ohio Inc., but to the public, they operate entirely as the UPS store. You get to keep your boring corporate legal name for the IRS while using a catchy, marketable brand name for your customers.
Here's another highly practical example. This is a quote from a founder trying to print garment labels, and it perfectly illustrates how a DBA solves real-world branding problems while keeping you compliant. In Ohio, an LLC's legal name must literally contain the words Limited Liability Company, or LLC. But this founder had already printed a bunch of tags ending in co. So what do? By filing a DBA for the name ending in co, they were able to legally use their existing inventory without having to change their LLC's official, legal identifier. A total game changer.
Section 5. Success Tips and Pitfalls, Keeping Your Registration Active. All right, let's talk about how to avoid the most common traps that cause the state to reject a filing. Because let's face it, nothing slows down a business launch quite like a returned application. Expert advice dictates that you double-check your application against this exact list of common pitfalls before you ever hit submit. The number one reason for rejection? A trade name not being distinguishable enough from an existing registered name. Also watch out for restricted words like bank or trust, which require special state approval. And this is a big one. You absolutely cannot use an entity suffix that doesn't match your true structure. Your LLC's DBA cannot include Inc. or Corp. because, well, you're not a corporation.
And please remember, in Ohio, DBA operates on a strict timeline. This is not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of filing. While Ohio LLCs actually don't have annual reports, name registrations expire every 5 years. Let me repeat that. Every 5 years, you must renew your trade or fictitious name using Form 524A to keep your legal rights intact. If you let it lapse, you literally lose the right to use the name, and someone else could potentially swoop right in and register it.
Section 6. Conclusion and next steps. Final thoughts and disclaimers.
You now have the blueprint for legally transforming your LLC's public identity in Ohio. But please remember, while we've laid out the framework and the state statutes here today, every single business is unique. This explainer provides general educational guidance based on Ohio law, but it is definitely not intended as legal advice. You should absolutely always consult a professional legal or business advisor to tailor this filing process to your specific situation, especially if you're concerned about trademark conflicts beyond Ohio's borders.
Now that you understand the immense power and necessity of a registered Ohio trade name, how it protects your court rights, how it integrates with your LLC, and exactly how to file that $39 form, the only question left is, what will you name your next big venture? Get out there, do that name availability search, and start building.